What's up, YouTube? Northeast Ohio here again. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about my favorite low pop set to go after. And we're going to do that. We're going to tie it in with a little mail day action. That's why we're on the desk cam today. We haven't been on desk cam in a long time. But finally, I bought one of these cards is tied into the video. There's two cards I have to show, so the mail day part won't take long. I bought both of these cards before Morant got hurt. One the day before, actually both of them like the day before he got hurt. So December 20, I don't know, around Christmas. The one I got fairly quickly, and I was waiting to get the other one to do the mail day video, but it took 3 weeks to get here. So it finally arrived over the weekend, and then I just needed to find time to record this. So, but yeah, there is one particular set, and I've made a video like this before, but it's been a hot minute, and I think it's worth going back to it. But there's one particular set I really like, specifically parallels, color parallels, that I really like to go after. What's your guess? You guys have a guess? Not base cards. I do like them for base cards too. Do not get me wrong. I have plenty of base cards of this, but specifically color parallels. I love this set for, especially the last 2 years, 1819 and 1920 class. I'll let you guys think about it. You guess in the comments. And speaking of, like, comment, sub, all that. So we're going to do this mail day real quick. And then we're going to hop into some charts so we can look at some pop counts and whatnot and compare a couple different things. So while you guys are guessing in the comments of what you think my favorite color parallel set is, not necessarily a specific color, but just what set and the, with the parallels. All right. So first up, and I talked about this card on the channel and I put money where my mouth is. That is Revolution. Come on, autofocus. There we go. I got this for $235, I think it was, before he got hurt. And this card's actually gone up since he got hurt, which is weird. I just really like the looks of these cards. They are really nice looking. And they're reasonably priced. 200 and some bucks for a PSA 10 seems reasonable enough. And I know Revolution's not one of the four main sets, but the thing I like about this card, besides just the eye appeal, it just looks nice sitting on a desk, is the pop count. The pop count on this is like under 300, and I think it's closer to 2. I don't remember exactly, but it's not high. The population report on these Revolution rookies is very low. So that is card number one. And once again, most of the reason why I got this is just the eye appeal. I mean, that thing just looks amazing in person with the shine. Speaking of that, this is not, I'm going to go on a slight tangent here. I'm going to reach over here really quick. This is one of my favorite Luca cards, and it is not a rookie. So I pack pulled this myself. Once again, autofocus giving me grief. And this card just looks fantastic. Once again, the silver mosaic with the blue background and in the light just looks, look at that thing. Look at that shine. As Alico 3 likes to say. Like, just a gorgeous card. For a Luca collector, these are fairly reasonably priced. Another second year card is not the biggest thing in the world, but just eye appeal wise, look great. All right, let's get into what this whole video is about. 30 minutes into it. All right, you had plenty of time to guess. There's actually one of these sitting on the desk, or this brand, and that is Optic. Optic colors. I adore these cards. Specifically, shout out to Card Optics, the purples. These things are so ridiculously low on population count, and they look, once again, look at that shine and that color. The eye appeal on these is great. I'm a sucker. I've said it a million times for this stupid rated rookie logo down here. Gets me every freaking time. But just a great looking card. And the purple looks really nice on the blue jersey. This I got for $550 shipped, tax and everything, because I bought this on eBay. Maybe a little less than that. They spiked up to about 600, 650 for a real hot minute. Then he got hurt. I bought this like 2 days before he got hurt. These are like a pop 200. I think it was 190 something last time I looked when I bought the card. So I can't imagine it's jumped too crazily high. But they are right around 200, if not under 200. And at the time, I got this for $200 less than his PSA 10 Prism, which there's a billion of. I mean, it's a no-brainer, guys. It's a sexy looking card. And these low pop count color parallels, they're great for quick flips, short-term flips, whatever. Specifically, I like targeting these for not ultra is probably too strong of a word, for longer term holds. Like I plan on holding Ja at least 3 to 5 years. Because for quick flips, when you're just moving stuff left and right, and you're holding for half a season or whatever, or maybe into the off season and then sell in the preseason, base Prism's fine because you're not holding it long term. You're just looking to buy it and move it. But if you're really into the player for the long term and you think he's the next generational talent or could be, or an all NBA, first team all NBA, all-star type player, NBA championship type player in the next 3 to 5 years, that's when you want to go with the lower pop count stuff, in my opinion, because that's when the value starts to shine. It's not initially. It takes a while as stuff starts to dry up. And you'll also see the fluctuations are a little bit less. Like if, say, someone gets hurt, Ja's a perfect example, actually. His base Prism went down about 20%. His select, which is low pop count, has actually gone up since he's gotten hurt or stayed flat. The Revolution has actually gone up. This purple has maintained its price for the most part because, one, there's just not a lot of, when the pop counts are so low, there's just not as many sales, and they just generally hold their value a little bit better. They might not always go up as fast, but they also won't go down as fast when the market takes a turn on them, which is nice. So that's enough of me rambling on the desk cam. We're going to fade over with some fancy magical DaVinci Resolve effects, and we will pull up the charts here. And we'll look at some pop counts and just generally prices and just do some quick comparisons, specifically on population counts, because I don't think a lot of people realize how low pop count Optic is compared to Prism. So, all right, let's transfer over to Market Movers. Link in the descriptions below, along with a coupon code. All right, let's move on over to Market Movers. All right. We have Market Movers up here, and we're going to look at two, and we're not necessarily doing this specifically for the players that I'm showing. I pick these, and we're going to look at Luca from 18 and Zion from 19. Specifically because those two have the highest pop count for graded cards. So for comparison's sake, anyone else that you look at is going to be lower, or it just gives you a general idea of print run versus how these grade, et cetera, et cetera. So we're going to start off with the obvious two, Luca base Prism and Luca silver Prism. So Luca base Prism, PSA 10s, there's 15,000 of them. Okay. And 2,000 silvers. Silver goes for about $9,000. Base goes for about 1,700-ish. Okay. Let's look at his Optic. And we're going to go through a litany of Optic things here. So let's start with his base. Just base Optic. Pop count. Under 3,400. Almost 5 times less of his base. These go for $762. So almost half. And it's actually, these charts are going back 3 months. 3 months. In 3 months, the Prism's up 24%. The Optic's up 27%. Not much of a change, but you could see percentage-wise, the Optic performs just as well. I would almost rather have 2 Optics to 1 base Prism, because that's essentially the price breakdown. $750 compared to $1,700 almost. So you could get 2 of these and have money left over. Personally, that's what I would do. Full disclosure, I own both. I actually don't have a PSA 10 base Prism. I have a BGS 9.5. I have 2 PSA 10 Luca Optics and a SGC 10 Luca Optic. Now, let's get into the interesting things. So we're going to hop back over here again, just as a refresher. Silver, the gold standard of trading cards. 2,000 is the pop count. We'll round up. And 9,000 is the price tag. Let's look at some optics. Blue Velocity. Gorgeous looking cards, especially with the Luca blue on blue. They go for about $3,000. The pop count, 139. There's 139 of these things, and that's it. 2,000 silvers, and this sells for triple. Silver sells for triple almost of this. This is up 32% over the last 3 months compared to 50% on the silver. So the silver is up more, but I would still almost rather have 3 of these than 1 Luca silver. Let's look at some other ones. Optic Hollow. Kind of the gold standard of Optic. $6,000. Population 248. I would much rather spend 6,000 on this than 9,000 on a silver. Let's look into some even lower ones. This is 6,500. The Hyper Pink. Not a great looking card, but these were terrible with print lines. They're very hard to get a PSA 10 in. Pop count, 34. 34. Are you kidding me? There's only 34 of these things in existence in a PSA 10, and they sell for less than the silver by a lot, almost $3,000, $2,500. You could buy this and a PSA 10 base and an Optic base PSA 10s for the same price as 1 silver. And I know I'm not necessarily considering like doing apples to oranges here. Yes, I could have the Luca Prism chart up with a billion different Prism color variations. But the value for the price of these compared to what the Prism counterparts go for and the pop counts, not everyone can afford $9,000 to $10,000 for Luca silvers or, you know, ruby red waves and all that stuff. And not that this stuff's cheap. And this isn't necessarily all about Luca. This is just about the price differences and the pop counts. Because if Luca only has 34 Hyper Pinks, how many PSA 10 Hyper Pink Michael Porter Jr.'s do you think are out there? You know what I mean? As you go off into other players, they're going to be even more minuscule because everyone's grading Luca everything. So as you spin this out to other players, those are just going to get lower. Even Trey, I looked at Trey and I didn't pull his charts, but Trey's pop counts are even lower than this. My personal favorite, the purple, like I have in the jaw, PSA 10. Now, one of these is not sold for a hot minute. Let me see if there's even one of these available. Okay. So the 2 cheapest available are 10K, buy it now or best offer. That's actually a purple disco. Just the regular purple's up for $9,999. The last one sold for $3,000. It's probably a little higher than that now. I think the last PSA 9 just did like $900, $700 or something like that. So you 3x that. That's about right. But they're so hard to find. The reason why, they are population 18. 18. And this card basically looks like a blue. The purple almost looks like blue on the 1819. Just a stunning looking card. I would love one of these in a PSA 10. But that's a lot of chunk of change to throw out there. And I'm kind of want to try to get a LeBron Topps Chrome. But, whoo boy. To me, this is one of, or this could be, it's not there yet, like one of the premier Luca rookie cards to have. If Luca pans out, or whatever player, Trae Young, Ja, Zion, whoever from this last 2 years class, I think the purple Optic specifically, regardless of player, has a chance to become a very iconic card, especially the Luca and the Ja, because of the semi-color match of jersey and the extremely low pop counts. Now, when you go to 19, the pop counts do go up on a lot of this stuff. 18 specifically, the Optic pop counts are just insane. Drink every time I say pop count. Shock. Once again, not a very popular card. Very tough grade with print lines. I personally don't like the look of these. And the market tends to agree with that, as these are one of the cheaper parallels at only 1,200, and there's only 220 in PSA 10. So it's not even double a base. These just do not do well because they're just kind of a weird looking card. So that's 1819. And these are the popular parallels. I did not go into like the numbered parallels and all that stuff. These are the common ones. So let's switch over to 1920 stuff. Let's look at Zion. Already almost 15,000 PSA 10 prisms, 1,000 silvers. So there's actually, the base has already caught up the Luca. The silvers actually have a way to go. Luca has double the silvers. And base goes for 720. PSA silver goes for 5K. Just for comparison purposes, once again, this exercise is not so much about Zion and Luca. It's more about just using them as for population counts, because they have the two most graded the most graded cards from the class. So let's pop over and look at Optic. Base under 5,000. Sells for 300. Once again, you could basically get two Optics for the price of a prism. That's usually the general breakdown. That is not a perfect rule, but that's a rough rule that you could use, that you should be able to buy at least two Optic PSA 10s for the same price as a PSA 10. And in theory, you should probably have a little bit of money left over depending on the player. Let's get into the parallels here. Blue Velocity again. Once again, great looking card. I pulled quite a few of these. Mine were all fairly off-centered. That's the thing about Optic. One, they're extremely touchy on surface. And two, the 4 equal borders on every side make it really, really hard on centering. And I believe that's why the population counts on these cards are so low. His Hollow, Optic Hollow, goes for about 2K. Nice looking card. Hollows look great in person. Only 320 of them. That's it. 320. How many silvers did we say? 1,000. There's a third of the hollows compared to the silvers. Go for about $2,000 compared to almost $5,000. You could buy two of these almost. And interesting, once again, this is a 3-month chart. The hollow is up 50% the last 3 months. His silver is only up 25%. Intriguing. Prism's up 34%. Base Optics up 30%. So those two are sticking pretty close together. Hyper Pink, we talked about it. Different looking card here. Once again, rife with print lines. These are really rough. In fact, this PSA 10 actually looks like it has one right there, or at least a light one. That's a minor one compared to some of the ones that I've opened. Not necessarily Zion, just in general. Goes for about $700. Pop 117. Only 117 of these. Yeah, some of the stuff could still be sitting at PSA. Absolutely correct. But it's not like these numbers are going to quadruple. These are going to be very low population cards. Once again, the previously spoken about purple. 230 of these. The jaw is just under 200. It is slightly behind. And actually, this appears to be selling for less than the jaw. That's interesting. Yeah, 400 and jaw goes for almost 500. I wonder if part of that is that the Zion photo and optics sucks. I wonder how much of that has to do with that. But that's intriguing that in this case, jaw sells for quite a bit more than Zion does. Interesting. Very interesting. And my personal favorite, and I know I said I don't like the shocks typically, and I really would like one of these in a jaw, but they are, there's only 49 of these in Zion, and jaw's even less. I think it's in the low 40s, maybe even 30. And that's the purple shock. The silver shock, like the Lucas, not a fan of. These, I think, look really good. And once again, very tough grade. Print lines. And this was a Target Mega Box exclusive. And Target Mega Boxes were nearly impossible to find. And I have firsthand experience of that because I had extremely good luck hitting targets for Optic retail back when it released in February and March. Like, I was clearing out whole stores to rip them, and I would get a box of cellos and 20, 30, 40 blasters or whatever I would get when a store would restock, and there would not be a single mega box. And I hit a couple Walmarts. I hit a couple Walmarts. They did not have, I think the Hyper Pinks come out of the Walmart mega boxes. I don't remember, but I know that the purple shocks definitely came out of Target. And I think I cleared out probably, I don't even know, 6 targets, 7 targets, 8 targets in the course of restocks, different stores too. And I probably got 10 total Target mega boxes. I just don't think there was a lot of them, which means that this card's going to be even more low population count. So the purple shock is my favorite of all the optics, but they are very hard to find, and the jaw is very expensive. It goes for about $700 or $800. But yeah, I mean, that's basically it. Once again, you can apply this out to whatever player that you want. But if you're thinking about throwing a bunch of money at Prism stuff, or you're just one of those people, and I'm not like, I am far from the stand atop the mountain upon high of population counts and allow me to preach to thee about the glory that is low pop count cards. But at some point, I do think there's a fine balance there. I believe most people that are all on board on population counts take it too far. And I think the people are like, they don't matter at all. They're not important. Completely forget about them. Don't even look at them. It's also not there either. I feel like it's somewhere in the middle. And it also, like I spoke about earlier, I believe it really depends on what you are doing. If you are buying in, let's say, a normal NBA offseason cycle, if you're buying in July or August to sell in December at the beginning of the season, you don't really care about the pop count because you're just going to sell the card anyways within 6 months or under a year. Let's say you're looking to buy it and resell it within a year. I don't know how much you should care that there's 10,000 PSA whatevers of that card. You're not in it for the long haul. You're in it because you think its prices are going to go up in the next 6 months and then you're going to sell it. Base Prism is the easiest, most liquid, simplest thing to flip. So don't worry about population count on the card. However, if you're buying Luca or Ja, I'm not big into Zion, but if you are and you're buying Zion or you're buying Giannis stuff or Tatum, if you want to go back further, I don't like the optic set as much from 17, 18. I just don't like the way it looks. I feel like 18, 19 is when it really kind of came into its own. But regardless, take a hard look at Optic. I know Select gets all the trendy YouTube creator, and I've done it myself. I've made videos about Select. I own Select cards. But I think that's mostly for base cards, like the Premier level and the Concourse, and obviously court sides. And then there's silvers of those, of course. But I think Select gets a lot of love for their base card counts. Try not to say pop and counts. And I get Optic. It's semi-boring, their base cards. It's plain white, rated rookie logo. They're non-action photos typically. But the color really appeals to me for the multitude of factors that we have spoken about on this video to this point. So if there's a particular player that you want to invest in long haul, I would strongly recommend looking at Optic color. I really think it's going to hold up well for the players that perform well, whoever you think that might be. I don't know that it's, and you'll do fine on it percentage wise for quick flips as well. It goes up basically in line with everything else. We saw the Zion and Luca charts both compared to Prism. Whatever percentage the Prism was up, this stuff basically followed. So it's not like, you know, you're leaving a bunch of money on the table. And like I said, in some of these cases, you could buy 2 or 3 of these cards for the same price of the Prism Silver version of the card. You know, yeah, the Prism Silver is kind of the icon, but I wouldn't mind 2 Optic Hollows instead of a Prism Silver, to be quite honest with you. So let me know what you guys think down below. Like I said, I love Optic. It's one of my favorite sets. It's my favorite set to probably collect of whatever player that I'm into, because you can get into it cheaper. I personally like the eye appeal of it, and you have the drink pop counts going for it as well. So that's all I have for you guys today. If you're not on board with me on the Optic bandwagon, I get it. But if you're not in the Optic, what's your favorite set besides Prism? Because I know Prism gets a ton of hate, but it's the most flippable, easiest liquid thing in the world. So you got to go for something if you don't want to buy the Prism. Like, comment, sub, all the YouTube nonsense down below, and we will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.